Hello and good evening, everyone. I am Nitika and I welcome you all again to yet another episode in the Bulldoze Topic of the Week series. So, today we are going to talk about the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is the NRI citizens or the persons of Indian origin who are living abroad. So, let's get started. So recently, the Prime Minister has inaugurated the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention in the city Indore based in Madhya Pradesh. And on the occasion of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is celebrated on 9th of January. So this year, the theme for the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is set as Diaspora, which is a reliable partners for India's progress in the Amrit Kal. So speaking of the diaspora, as we all know that whatever reliable partners do we have, or we have been, they have been supporting India in across the nations, and what all support they are giving, what all help they are providing, remittances, economic, political, social contribution they are providing. So this year's theme is totally based on the reliability or the support that our diaspora is being providing us. In this convention, nearly 3,500 diaspora members from nearly 70 different nations have registered for this particular convention. It is a biennial convention, and now, because every year it is celebrated with a very massive scale. Ever since 2015, particularly, it has started getting noticed by not only in India, across the world as well. So this year, the special guest of honor was Suriname's president, that is Chandrika Persatad Santokhi. So जो सुरीनेम कंट्री है, दैट इज सूरीनाम कंट्री, उनके जो प्रेसिडेंट है वो इस ईयर प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस के प्रेसिडेंट जो है वो चीफ गेस्ट रहे हैं. एंड इवन द चीफ गेस्ट इज डॉक्टर मोहम्मद इरफान अली, जो कि गुयाना के प्रेसिडेंट हैं. Right, so we have two important names. One is the special guest of honor, who is the Suriname's president, and the other one is chief guest, who is Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, who is the president of Guyana. Not only this, even an award is also given to nearly 27 people across the Indian diaspora who have supported the India for good about a decade or so. And this year, our president, Ms. Murmu, is going to honor all the people, all of them, with this particular award. Right? So among the names, so 27 people, and they are based in different countries like Australia, Ethiopia, Israel, Japan, and more. So they are being chosen depending on the cause and the support that they have provided. Amongst the list, there is one special name, that is Dr. Darshan Singh Dhaliwal, and he is a US based NRI among others in the list. And he is supposedly, there's a brief story behind it, that he actually provided the langar seva to all the protesters or the farmers who were protesting in the NH1 highway, and they were protesting against the farm laws in India. So this person has provided the langar seva to all those farmers as they were protesting agitatedly against the government for the 3 laws that were being ruled out by the government. Right? And apart from this, even the chief guest of the event, even the president of Guyana, and the special guest of honor, both will also be awarded with the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman. This, especially the chief guest, Ms. Dr. Mohammad Irfan Ali, will be awarded with this particular award. Right? So this award is significant, as this award is given to the category which is far and wide a lost category, the Indians who are serving abroad, and somewhere or the other they are representing our country. So this is considered as the highest honored award given to the NRIs or the person of Indian origin. Right? Now, apart from this, even a commemorative postal stamp is also announced, which states that Surakshit jaye, Prashikshit jaye, right? So it means that you must, travel across, and you must present our country in a safe, legal, and orderly manner. There should be safe, legal, and orderly migration from India and to India, right? Apart from this, even a first ever digital exhibition held during the event, which is based on the theme, that is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is again very, very important. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, that is the uh, it marks the 75th independence anniversary of India, which is tagged as the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Of course, it is important, 75 years to independence, what we have achieved, what we have not. So, इस अमृत महोत्सव के वेले में जो अगेन इन हिंदी बहुत बार आपने इंडियन मिनिस्टर्स को ये यूज करते हुए सुना होगा, दैट इज आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव, आजादी का अमृत वेला, विच मीन्स दैट they are celebrating the 75 years of independence, and now they are focusing on the areas which are being left over from the last 75 years, especially based on the secularism, while promoting the Hinduism during this time. So ये थोड़े से आपके कुछ important points हैं जो कि इवन आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव में इवन जो ये एक डिजिटल एग्जीबिशन हुआ है, that is also based on the freedom fighters who played a significant role in the freedom struggle movement of India. So they are being displayed during this exhibition, which is very important, right? So apart from this, even there were 5 thematic plenary sessions were held during this event. So the first plenary session was based on the role of diaspora in the youth, specifically in the innovations and the new technologies, which was chaired by Minister of Youth Affairs, that is Anurag Thakur. The second plenary based on the role of the Indian diaspora in promoting the India's healthcare ecosystem, and that is again chaired by Minister of Health and Family of Welfare, Dr. Mandviya, and co-chaired by Minister of State of External Affairs, Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh. The third plenary was based on the leveraging the soft power of India, which was again chaired by the Minister of State of External Affairs, Meenakshi Lekhi. And the fourth plenary was based on the enabling the global mobility of the Indian workforce, which was chaired by Dharmendra Pradhan. And last plenary was based on harnessing the potential of Indian diaspora or the diaspora entrepreneurs towards an inclusive approach to the nation building, which was chaired by our finance minister, Ms. Nirmala Sita Raman. So these are the 5 important plenaries which were held during this session. So these plenaries are important as they served a particular topics. They served particular case studies throughout in the 5 different stages, and they presented that how Indian diaspora has helped not only in the healthcare ecosystem, in the youth innovations, in the technologies, in the entrepreneurship, and even in spreading the awareness amongst the other cultural exchanges as well. So these diasporas or these plenary sessions were taken by some of the big names of India, mostly all the ministers who are related to the, of course, the Indian cabinet. They are related to the cabinet system of India. So yes, they were very important from the even from the sessions point of view, from the convention point of view, and even at a global podium as well, right? So even a high level committee on the Indian diaspora which was headed by a jurist, that is Mr. Singhvi. So this particular committee also suggested that India must combine, collectivate, and even they must try to build an ecosystem for all the Indian diaspora so that they can contribute to the India's growth as well, right? So this committee was taken very seriously as it was held in 2002, and after this committee, after the report given by this committee in 2002, it was from 2003 that actually the government of India have started taking interest in the support, in the kind of contribution given by the NRIs to the India's GDP. Not only GDP, rather even the political system, social economic variables everywhere. So what all contributions they are providing since 2003, it was this day is particularly recognized. Now the question arises is why the 9th of January is celebrated. Why 9th of January is particularly been chosen? So it is said that in 1915, Mahatma Gandhi ji, who is known to be the greatest Pravasi as he was an NRI, he returned to India from South Africa, and rest is of course the history, and we all know that how he has led the India's freedom struggle movement and how he changed the lives of many Indians. He is of course even today he's been the role model of many, and he's been the most researched topics. If we notice, even a lot of us are even following the philosophies and the principles that are laid by him back then, right? So this day came into effect since 2003, but it was revived in the year 2015, and it was decided to be celebrated every 2 years. So every 2 years we celebrate this with a very extravaganza event where all the NRIs and POIs are being invited to this convention, right? Of course, post the pandemic, it was very difficult to manage such a large convention. So through one or the other mediums and sources, they are being connected, and even the invites are being the for the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman award, the invites are also sent to all of them that they must apply for this particular award, and based upon their contributions, then the award is being of course the award is being announced, right? So it's not that one or two person will receive this award. There are list of, sometimes it is even as high as 35, 40, 30. So a group of people will be receiving this particular award. There can be institutions, there can be an individual, but they must be NRI or POI category, right? Now speaking of the diaspora, as we are using this term quite a lot. So what is this diaspora? We trace its roots from the Greek word that is diaspora, which means the dispersion, right? And the Indian diaspora, as we know, that it has grown many fold since the first batch of Indians were taken to the countries of the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean islands, right? And not of course, it's needless to mention that Indian diaspora is present across almost in the 90% countries in the world, and not only they are serving there, they are living there, but they are also sitting at the top parliamentarian positions, right? So even if I talk about the classification of this diaspora, so we have we have certain phrases or even names which are given to them. So let's just see what they are. Firstly, we have NRIs. So NRIs, non-resident Indians, these are the residents of the foreign countries. A person is considered NRI if he or she is not in India for 182 days or more during the financial year, or if he or she is in India for less than 365 days during the 4 years preceding that year. So this way, they are going to be taken as the NRI, and less than 60 days in that year, right? So if a person or a family meets this criteria, so they will be taken as they will be treated as the NRI. Then the second we have is PIO, which is persons of Indian origin. So they refer as a foreign citizen except a national citizen of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, China, Iran, Bhutan, Sri Lanka and Nepal, who at any time held an Indian passport, or who either of their parents, grandparents, great-grandparents were born and permanently resided in India as defined in the Government of India Act 1935, or who is a spouse of the citizen of India or a PIO. So persons of Indian origin, prior to 2017, this was taken as a different category, but now this category is abolished, right, in 2015, and now it is merged with the category of OCI, which is Overseas Citizens of India. So after 2015, as we all know, even at that time, there has been a lot of ruckus about it, that why the PIO has been abolished and this and that. And mostly the refugees who were living in the eastern side of the country, they were more affected by this particular abolishment, right? So now the PIO, we have the separate category of the OCI, that is Overseas Citizens of India, which was carved out in 2005. And like I had mentioned, now the POIs are also being merged into OCI, right? So who are the OCIs now? So it is given to a foreign national who are eligible to be a citizen of India on the 26th of January 1950, or who was a citizen of India on or at any time after the 26th January 1950, or belonged to a territory that became the part of India post 15th August 1947, right? So the foreign nationals who were the citizen of India during these three timelines, so they will be given, and then of course, they left the country, now they are living in some other country, so they will be given as the status of the OCI, that is Overseas Citizen of India, right? So these are the three important classifications which are considered under the Pravasi Bharatiya. So Pravasi Bharatiya, so we have these three categories, which is sums up to be two categories, that is NRI and OCI, that is Overseas Citizen of India, right? So this is a brief data relating to the Indian diaspora. As you can see, the top destination for Indians, which means in which country you will find the maximum Indians, are United Arab Emirates, the USA and Saudi Arabia. So UAE, US, Saudi Arabia will find the maximum Indians there. And as far as the remittances are concerned, the remittances means the money which the NRIs or the NRI category is sending back to the India, that is called as remittances, right? So India is topping the list, followed by China, Mexico, Philippines, Egypt, right? For example, NRI family is living in USA and they are sending the dollars back to their grandparents or great grandparents in India. So that is called as a remittance. Now this remittance helps in again in our balance of payments. It is basically giving a plus to our balance of payments and somewhere helping in balancing the deficit also, right? However, if we look at the overall segment, as you can see in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, UAE, Myanmar, UK, Kuwait, Canada, USA, South Africa, Saudi Arabia. So these are the top countries where you will find majority of the NRIs, right? So this is again, this data is very important, as we will also get to know. Even you will notice that many Indians, they first, if they want to go abroad, study abroad, settle abroad, so they also put more focus on these countries first and then any other nation, right? Now, speaking of the significance of this diaspora, of course, it helps giving India an edge in the other countries, as if the NRIs or the persons of Indian origin, if they are sitting at the top parliamentary positions, it definitely helps getting India a nut or even a road to its political stance, and it actually makes the relations more flexible. So it is again one of the richest minorities in many developed nation, and with the help of our presence across, we have really helped giving a bit of change in the social code as well. Like that in Canada, Punjabi language is one of the official language, and even the Punjabis are allowed to to keep the 5Ks even in their defense, and even in the in their armies and police area as well, right? And even now there are many restaurants and public places where you can keep those 5Ks intact, even when it has been served that you can't keep a dagger, but even then if you are keeping it and you are a Sikh, so they will not object it. So definitely, if we talk about the Indian diaspora, it helps gaining us a more changes or flexibility in the social code, in the cultural code of the nations, right? Then second, I had already mentioned this point, the economic contribution, the remittances which is sent by the Indian diaspora, and how it affects the balance of payments. It positives the balance of payments, it helps in negate the deficit balance of payment of the India, right? So lastly, what are the government initiatives which are launched by the government ever since we have started recognizing this segment, that okay, this area is also important and to be taken care of. One is the Pravasi Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is to institutionalize the process of skill development amongst the emigrant Indian workers. Then secondly, we have the scholarship program for the diaspora children. So this is basically the 100 scholarships are given to the PIOs and NRI students for the undergraduate courses. Then No India program, which is a program started for the children age group between 18 to 30 years, adults basically, of the age group between 18 to 30 years, so that they know more about the India, the history of India. Then next, e-migrate system. So this is a foreign employers database, and to ensure the welfare and to keep a check on the exploitation as well. As we know that particularly in the West Asia, the exploitation of the Southeast Asian workers or South Asian workers is quite prevalent. So this system will help in keeping a check on any kind of problem or any kind of exploitation that our workers are facing there. And last but not the least is Vajra, which is Visiting Advanced Joint Research Faculty Scheme, right? So this scheme is particularly where the top NRI scientists, engineers, doctors, managers and professionals, they serve the Indian public sector organizations for a small period, for a brief period, right? And they help in lending their expertise. So this is a Vajra scheme, right? So of course this day actually plays a very significant role in the overseas Indian community. Even they feel part of they feel part of the India, and they feel that yes, India is also doing something for them. They don't feel neglected, they don't feel left out, right? And it also helps in sharing a platform to get a more knowledge, more cultural exchange about the difference between the culture of there and culture of India, and to even engage themselves with the government to lend more expertise from them, right? And even these conventions are very useful as it helps in networking amongst the overseas citizens. Even of course, when you know that people are coming from Australia, China, New Zealand, Canada, so they are coming at the on the same platform, talking to each other, sharing their experiences. So it definitely gives us more insight about what is happening in these countries and how can we make ourselves better, or in which fields we are better than the other nations, right? So one last announcement for all of you. So the students, as you all know about IRMA, which is Institute of Rural Management, Anand. It is one of the pioneer, B school in India. And recently, we have noticed that, and even they had started with their they started with their postgraduate diploma in the rural development. And because it is a pioneer B school in India, I'm sure you already know about this one. And because it is a 15 months program, it is almost equivalent to the MBA executive program, and it is also approved by AICTE. So if you are planning to go for the postgraduate diploma in the rural management, IRMA is the best choice for you. So don't delay, as they are going to close their application on 2nd of February. So it is like I had mentioned, in the rural development field, IRMA is the first choice of many students, right? So that is all for today, guys. Next week we'll come up with another episode with another information. So till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much.